Alright guys, we are back with another video. This time it is Slime Rancher and Plants vs. Zombies characters. So I started with this Slime Rancher character on the top left, a large oval, and two big circles on top that I kind of used the outer curve for to help with making the two ears. Kind of looks like the letter C, sort of. Upside down U. So I do a lot of cleaning up as I'm going. This character was pretty easy, but curves can be a little difficult sometimes. So I used a connect the dots kind of approach there to get that kind of kitty smile. I think I probably could have made it even bigger and even more curved, but sometimes when you're drawing, it takes a little while to get warmed up. So this is the easiest one that I started with, and it took a little while to get warmed up with it. So two circles for each eye. Those little stripes on the side and right here are kind of curvy triangles. Cleaning some things up again. And we're almost done already. This one was very, very quick. I think kinder and first grade kids should be able to do this. I think the Plants vs. Zombie characters are pretty easy too, aside from the zombie. I do all of these characters that I have pictures of, so you can try and draw all of them if you want. I'm probably only going to be posting this one video this week. I've been having a lot of computer problems, so I'm not even sure if this... I've been having a lot of difficulties with making this video for some reason. It kept crashing, so you're probably gonna... Hopefully the audio isn't too bad, but the music messes up some, I know, because the recording stopped a bunch of times. But yeah, I did my best, so hopefully the video still comes out okay. So I used a pretty bright orange and then a really dark brown orange here. Just coloring everything in, taking my time to make sure that I try and stay inside the lines and that I am coloring it solid. I do leave a bit of an opening here for the tops of the ears and the top of the head here because there's that really bright white reflection on top of that kitty character. Never played this game, but it looks cute. Again, these were requests from you guys, so I've been trying to get through a list of things that people have been asking for. If you are one of my bigger kids, I think you could try the zombie down there. At least try. He's fun to draw. So filling in the blacks of the eyes, and I leave that little white circle for the reflection again. Really dark, kind of dark red, dark brownish red here for the inside of the mouth. I don't know a lot to say on this one, just coloring it all in. Just make sure you're taking your time. He's pretty simple. I kind of liked that purple one over there with the tiara. But I only do this one for the Slime Ranchers. The person who asked for, or the people that asked for this, they never asked for a specific one, but I really don't even know if these characters have names. Here's the white highlight that I'm filling in, and I did put a little bit of a brighter orange to get that kind of lighter area like you see in the picture. But I think we're just about done with this one. This one took me longer than I thought it would. But again, when you're drawing, sometimes it takes you a little while to get warmed up. So now I am moving on to the pea shooter from Plants vs. Zombies. I start with 2 ovals, one really big. Well, I guess that other one's kind of a circle. Little curve, kind of a letter U again coming off the bottom. And then a really big letter C, I guess, for the opening of the pea shooter. And then I fill that in with a black. Again, I'm just making sure that I look at the picture, and there's a triangle that is curvy right there, trying to point out that those leaves are just triangles that are a bit curvy. So my approach is always looking for simple shapes that will help me draw bigger, more difficult things. So curving rectangle that comes off for the stem, and then those curving triangles again for the bigger leaves down at the bottom. Ovals for the eyes, circle for the highlight, the white highlight, and this eyebrows are kind of rectangles, or rectangles that come into like a triangular point. You could just do rectangles. It'll probably make them look angrier. If you have those eyebrows slanted down like that, your character will look angry. Then I drew those little triangles for the highlights, and now we're finally coloring it in. This one I use a couple different colors for, but not a lot. It's still mostly just green. Well, completely green basically. So this is more of a yellow-green for the body. If you don't have a lot of different colors, you could always just use yellow. So if you're using colored pencils, you should be able to do really lightly with the green and really lightly with the yellow, and you can mix this color yourself. And a darker green for the leaves on the back of his head, and I think I used that green down at the bottom leaves too a little bit. So adding different types of even the same color can make your drawing look more interesting. It gives you a little bit of variety or some different stuff. And when there's more different stuff going on in your art, a lot of times it's more fun to look at. This video took me a lot longer than it ever should have. I spent a lot of time on it last night before finally just calling it for the night and finishing it today, because my computer and the programs kept crashing, and it was a mess. So I gotta get all that fixed up. So here I'm putting a slightly dark yellow-green for, again, a little more variety, a little bit of a shadow. I do use a little bit of a yellow-green here, and it really pops with that kind of darker yellow-green for the body or the head. Just a little bit of a highlight on the side of the stem. All of this, again, I'm just looking at that picture, so just taking your time and looking at the picture that you're trying to draw from. Or even if you're trying to create your own Plants vs. Zombies characters, you can still look at the actual ones and get kind of inspired by them, because they all have these like big cutesy eyes with the big reflection. Just making sure that you have that style in any kind of character you create. So 2 big ovals. I'm working on the sunflower now. Big old smiley face. and then we start on all of these leaves, or I guess not leaves, they're petals. I did show a triangle again there, so a lot of this is just triangles that are curvy. I probably would be careful not to make them too curved. So take your time and make sure that they are looking like petals. You know, sometimes kids rush with drawing flower petals, and it looks a lot better when you slow down and pay attention to what you're doing. So I got some little leaves. Well, I guess they're not little leaves down on the bottom, and this is actually where it crashed. So I think there was just a music change there. But we got our other, I would call the center of these sunflowers kind of like a lemon or a football shape, or an almond. It's not really a perfect oval, because it's kind of pointed a little bit. So on the left sunflower that I drew, I really love how the stem came out. I don't know why I felt like pointing that out, but sometimes when you make art, you're gonna find like this one area and you're like, man, that's the coolest area. That's the coolest stem I've ever drawn. I know. It's a little weird. I'm a little weird, but that's okay. Weird people are cool. So here I got a brighter orange. I again use a few different colors for coloring these sunflowers, and that variety, those different colors make it more interesting. If you don't have a lot of different colors, that's fine too. Just do your best, whatever you have access to, whatever you have at home. So I fill in with this bright orange, and I do add some highlights. I really like watching the coloring part. It's so satisfying. At least when I stay inside the lines, right? But again, everybody makes mistakes, so the biggest part here is making sure that you are fixing them. Filling in the blacks of the eyes and making sure not to go over the little white highlight. Finally, I'm at the yellow of the flower petals. So here I have a kind of orangish yellow for the first color that I put in, and then I do go back into the tips of the flower petals with a brighter yellow to make them look like they are kind of glowing. They're giving off this shininess. I like sunflowers, they're very pretty. I guess these don't look like real sunflowers, but they're still really pretty. I haven't played Plants vs. Zombies in so long. I miss it. I need to go back and play that again at some point. If you don't know what Plants vs. Zombies is, it's basically, well, at least when I played it, it was a phone game, I think, and you just, like, would build all of these little flowers, and you would protect your house with the flowers from the zombies that were coming, and the pea shooters would shoot peas at the zombies and take them down. The sunflowers gave sun energy or something. I can't remember, but I want to say it helped you so you could build other flowers. It's been too long, like I said. I really liked how that bright part for the outer part of the flower tips looked. You could even, if you wanted to go a step further, add a little bit of orange to the part of the flower petal that's close to the orange center, and that would really make it poppy and look really pretty. I didn't do that because it would have been, well, it wouldn't have really looked like the picture, but I like doing that when I draw regular flowers. So a little bit of a highlight on top and then that darker orange on the bottom to have a bit of a shadow. Putting a little bit of yellow green showing where the light is hitting. A bit on the stems and the leaves. And I think we're just about done with this. I like the left sunflower. I think the right one kind of came out a bit derpy. I kind of lost my groove some after the computer crashed. But he still looks good. I put a few little shiny bits coming off of them, and then finally we are on to the zombie. Now this guy is a little more difficult. You don't have to try this if you're like one of my little kids, like kinder or first. I think second grade could probably try. I've seen some kindergarten kids trying the more difficult drawings, and that's been really impressive. So I started with a big oval, 2 circles of different sizes because in the picture one eye is smaller than the other. Use a lot of squares or rectangles to help with building the mouth here. The opening for the mouth is very rectangular, and he's got all these funky shaped teeth. He was a lot of fun to draw. I really liked drawing him. I thought about putting one of the orange cones on top of his head because some of them have those on their heads in the game, but I didn't. My computer kept crashing, but I was kind of done once I finally finished this guy. So 2 oval shapes for the nose openings. A lot of little squiggly bits coming off for his hair. I do show the kind of shape for the shadow here. I don't know how to explain it, but the one on the right side of his face, it's a weird shape, that's for sure. But mostly just so I can have that to fill in later with a darker color. So I get the shape for his tie. I do those 2 big ovals to kind of tell me where I want to put his shoulders there. So that's his, well, the arm on the left, but I guess it's his right arm. And then I get the rectangle cuff for his coat sleeve. He has this opening or hole in his coat on his sleeve there that I really liked. That was cool. So I use some little circles or ovals to show me where those hands are gonna go. Lots of kind of rectangles and triangles. I do that line there to kind of help me with where my leg is gonna go, but I do erase, well, I erase all of it, but there was another computer crash. So here's his leg coming off. I had to resize this a lot, just because I do like drawing bigger so it's a little easier for you guys to see. But then I run out of room real quick, so I'm constantly resizing and zooming in so you guys can still see it in the video. I think the shoe came out kind of big, but it still looked pretty good. I usually can't stand drawing shoes. I messed with his hands here for a while. You could just do kind of rectangles coming off of a circular kind of hand if you wanted to, because I know fingers can be real difficult, or hands in general could be hard. I think I'm just about done finally with the drawing. I'm gonna start with coloring finally. I really love how he came out. So I use a really ugly kind of green, but he's a zombie, so I guess it shouldn't be a really nice green, huh? If you wanted to mix this kind of color, I would probably say press real lightly with a green, and then maybe put a little, like mix in a little bit of yellow, and maybe real lightly some black, or even better, like a little bit of a regular pencil to get some gray in there, because it's a really gross color. So then I just get a darker version of that color. And again, you could color the whole thing with a green, and just press a little bit darker in these darker areas. I think that might have been another computer brush. Oh, making this video was rough, guys. My computer was just not happy at all. So his eyes and teeth are kind of the same yellowy color, which is real gross, but oh, and his fingernails too. I do use quite a few different colors for him to show some shadows and show some highlights, but I start with one color usually. So I fill it all in with that one base color. So I'm just using a blue here, and then later I come back in with a dark blue, and I think a light blue as well. Yep, here's the dark blue for that shadowy area. Now this is just extra. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. I would probably still try and color it, but if you don't have a lot of colors, don't be worried about making it look exactly like this. But if you do have a lot of colors, go for it. Try. So here I use the dark red in the darker areas because his head is casting a shadow over the top of his tie, and then a brighter red for the bottom. I've had a lot of fun doing these drawings and then coloring them for you guys. It's very calming in a way, at least when my computer doesn't crash over and over. It's like having, like, I made my own little coloring page, and now I get to color my coloring page. My guy came out a bit taller. In the original, his head is a lot bigger. So if you want to make your zombie head bigger, go for it. Finally remembered his elbow there. I got a darker green and the one from his head when I was coloring, and I finally went in and added some of the darker green, the shadows to his hands and his leg. So a lot of the colors for this are very bland. Like that red is probably the nicest, poppiest, brightest color on him for his tie. But he's a zombie, so he's not really supposed to look cool, I guess. I don't know. He's not supposed to look good. He's supposed to look like he's all in shambles and falling apart. He's supposed to look like a zombie. So using those kind of uglier, blander colors helps. So going in with a darker brown to get the shadows for his shoes now and some spots in his coat, making that coat look a little more ragged and torn up and old. We're just about done. It's just a little over a minute left of the video. I think just some highlights at this point. I kind of wish I had drawn the lines in his tie. I think it would have looked a little cleaner here, but I did still put those white areas on his tie to make it a striped tie. And I forgot for so long that this part here on his forehead, the little crease or like line on his forehead. I added some highlights, some kind of brighter yellowy green. And that's pretty much it. All done. So make sure you are taking your time again. Hope you have fun with this one. Sorry that I won't be able to make another video this week, but I gotta fix my computer. So take your time, do your best. If you're a little kid, just stick with the easier ones. If you're one of my big kids, you could try all of them if you wanted. But enjoy, guys. I'll see you in the next video.